When a man feels horny, his whole body wakes up. His heartbeat rises, his senses sharpen, and his mind becomes filled with desire. It is a natural part of being human, but few people understand what truly happens when that energy builds up and a man decides not to release it. Something powerful begins to shift inside him, both physically and mentally. It is not just about avoiding pleasure, it is about redirecting it. What if resisting your urges didn't make you weaker, but actually made you stronger? When arousal begins, the body goes through a series of physical changes. Blood rushes towards the lower part of the body, filling the genitals and causing pressure. The brain releases a wave of dopamine, the chemical of desire and reward. This is what makes a man crave release. At this stage, everything in his biology is saying, act now. But if he resists, the body doesn't explode, it adapts. The blood flow slowly decreases. The body reabsorbs the fluids that were building up, and the nutrients that would have been lost are reused for cell repair and hormone balance. It's a natural recycling process, one that many never realize exists. However, the brain often has a harder time letting go than the body. When desire rises, dopamine floods the mind, demanding satisfaction. If a man always gives in, his brain learns that every spark of arousal must be followed by release. This creates a cycle of addiction to pleasure and weakens self-control. But if he resists, his brain slowly begins to change. After the initial discomfort, dopamine levels balance out and the mind becomes calm again. Serotonin rises, bringing clarity, peace, and focus. Over time, this rewires the brain for patience instead of impulse. There's also a powerful hormonal shift that happens when a man holds himself back. Studies have shown that when a man abstains from release for a few days, testosterone levels can slightly increase. This hormone is not only about sex, it fuels confidence, energy, and motivation. A man who learns to hold his energy starts to feel a deeper strength. He becomes more assertive, more alive, and more driven to accomplish his goals. Yet this doesn't mean that resisting desire is easy. The body and mind will fight back. There might be tension, restlessness, and even physical discomfort known as blue balls. It's temporary, but it can make a man feel frustrated. This is where most people give up, believing that the only way to calm down is through release. But that is only half the truth. The other half is that the energy can be transformed. What if the same energy that creates desire could be turned into pure focus, power, and creativity? The secret lies in how a man handles that tension. If he just suppresses it, the energy becomes stress. But if he learns to move it through his body, it becomes power. Deep breathing, cold showers, exercise, and creative work can shift the arousal from the sexual center up through the rest of the body. This is called transmutation, turning sexual energy into mental energy. When that happens, the mind becomes sharper, the body feels alive, and the man feels like he is in full control of himself. When a man learns this balance, he no longer becomes a slave to his desires. He doesn't run away from arousal, and he doesn't drown in it either. Instead, he stands in the middle, aware of its pull, but unmoved by it. This level of control changes how he sees women, relationships, and even himself. It builds discipline, confidence, and a deep sense of peace that can't be taken away by a quick release. The problem in today's world is that many men are constantly overstimulated. Everywhere they look, there are triggers, images, videos, and content designed to make them feel aroused. They release their energy often, sometimes daily, without realizing that it slowly drains their focus and drive. Their bodies stay tired, their minds become foggy, and their motivation fades. They wonder why they can't stay consistent, why they feel lazy or anxious. The answer often lies in how often they give in to these impulses. But the solution is not to live in suppression or shame. The key is awareness. When a man feels horny and notices it, he doesn't have to fight it or run from it. He can breathe, stand still, and feel it without reacting. This simple act builds strength. It teaches the mind that not every desire needs to be answered immediately. It's like training a muscle. Each time he resists, his self-control grows stronger. Imagine what kind of man you'd become if every time you felt desire, you used it to build your life instead of wasting it. Over time, this practice changes everything. The energy that once pushed him to seek pleasure begins to drive him toward purpose. He becomes more active, more confident, and more centered. His eyes become sharper, his posture straightens, and people can feel his presence. This is not magic. It's biology working at its highest potential. His body learns to recycle sexual energy into vitality. His brain learns discipline, and his spirit feels grounded. This transformation also affects how he interacts with others. A man who has control over his urges naturally gives off a different energy. He doesn't chase, he attracts. He doesn't need approval. He radiates confidence. People sense the balance in him, a calm but powerful energy that doesn't need to prove itself. This is the silent strength of a man who has learned to master his desires instead of being mastered by them. Still, the journey isn't perfect. There will be days when temptation feels overwhelming and the urge to release feels stronger than willpower. But those are the moments that define the process. Every time a man resists, he trains his mind. Every time he slips, he learns. The key is consistency. To rise again and keep transforming the energy instead of wasting it. Eventually, he stops seeing arousal as something to fear or suppress. He begins to see it as a form of energy that can fuel his success, creativity, and growth. That's when the power truly unfolds. For men, semen retention is one of the best ways to build discipline because it activates your biology by keeping you horny. And when you learn to master your desires, you become a lethal weapon. It also rewires your brain to seek real connection and gives you the strength to avoid lustful relationships that destroy you and leave you feeling empty. If you want to learn more about mastering semen retention, I suggest you read The Semen Retention Blueprint. In it, you will find 25 chapters where we go into various topics regarding semen retention, like physical benefits, relapses, wet dreams, how to retain while in a relationship, spiritual growth, pheromones, and much more. The list goes on. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description below. When you stop running from your urges and start mastering them, you stop being ordinary. You become unstoppable. The physical side of resisting arousal is just the beginning. Deep inside, a man starts to feel a spiritual shift. He realizes that his energy is sacred, that what once caused chaos can now bring peace. His focus strengthens, his intuition sharpens, and his sense of purpose becomes clearer. This is the point where self-control turns into self-mastery. In simple terms, when a man feels horny and chooses not to give in, he is not just avoiding pleasure. He is training his mind, balancing his hormones, and strengthening his spirit. The body learns to recycle the energy. The brain learns to find calm without reward. And the man learns to control himself instead of being controlled by desire. Over time, this leads to mental clarity, emotional stability, and physical vitality. The energy that once tried to pull him down becomes the same energy that lifts him up. It is a reminder that self-control is not about denying who we are. It's about becoming who we were meant to be. When a man resists his urges, he is not losing anything. He is gaining his power back. If you made it until here, leave a crown emoji in the comments. I want to see how many of you made it to the end and finished what you started. To everyone who supports my channel, thank you so much. I'm forever grateful. And if you're new here, thank you as well. Remember, live with honor or die a coward. Take care, brother.